Welcome back to Gear Up and Ride. Today we're going to have a look at lane filtering, when you should lane filter and why you should lane filter. Let's just go over some of the basics of lane filtering. So lane filtering is when you go in between two cars, and usually it's done under 30 kilometers an hour. So if you're doing it over 30 kilometers an hour, that's called lane splitting, and in Australia that is currently illegal. So when should you lane filter? I like to lane filter anytime I get the opportunity. So I try to squeeze into little gaps if I can, try to do it safely at all times, and try to get to the front of the queue. And I do it in all sorts of situations, and I try to make sure that I'm as far to the front as I can be. As you can see in this example, there's not a lot of room. So I'm going to try to squeeze through, because I know my bike can fit through there. Now that leads us to the second question: why should you lane filter? So there are 4 reasons why I do this. First, it helps traffic flow for other vehicles. So I'm not sitting in the queue holding up a space where a car could be. Second of all, it helps you get to the front of the queue. It helps you see the traffic flow, and it helps you plan where your bike should be for the next set of lights or the next set of traffic. The third reason is the most important to me, which is getting ahead of the traffic, so that you're not boxed in and there's less chance of you being hit. As you can see from here, I've taken off really quickly, and I want to make sure that there are no cars around me so that I can be a lot safer. And let's not kid ourselves. The last reason is that you can get through traffic a lot faster, which is also helpful. So let's look at a few examples of me filtering through traffic. So when I'm lane filtering, I never rush through the lanes. I take my time. If I don't get to the front, then that's fine. I'll get to the front at the next set of traffic lights, or I'll find my way there eventually. But what I try to do is try to make sure that I'm just doing it safely, taking my time, not really upsetting the traffic, not upsetting people that are sitting in the queue. They're already frustrated as it is. They don't want a motorbike zooming past them and hitting their side mirror or anything like that. Some of the techniques I use is when I filter through the lane, I still stay in the middle of the traffic. I don't cut in front of the car. There are some people that say cutting in front of cars is a lot better because they can see you, but it still doesn't avoid the problem of them hitting you. And besides, when you cut in front of the car, you're now crossing over into the white area where you're not supposed to really be, so I avoid that. There are other times where it's just not possible to filter through, or you're just uncomfortable doing it. The cars are way too close or something's happening. Perfectly fine to sit where you are, wait for the next set of lights, or wait for another opportunity where you can. You look to the right, you look to the left, you could filter in any other side, but sometimes it's just not possible, so I just sit there. Trucks are another obstacle that you have to be aware of. Always do it safely. They can't see you at all, so you got to make sure that you're aware of that and you're looking up ahead. If traffic starts moving, you need to get into a lane as soon as possible, because the truck will just start going and you may get caught underneath it. Now you've got to start training to get comfortable to go in between two cars, and actually just sitting there in between the two cars. You don't have to merge to the right or to the left. You just sit in the middle if the traffic comes to a stop or you got no room to move. This is quite weird, especially when you transition from driving to riding a motorbike. You don't do that in a car, so it is quite strange. But train yourself to do that. It's perfectly fine just to sit there. There's a great example of 3 motorcycles. Obviously one was there previously, but you can see 2 others, me and another guy, have lane filtered. So we're all doing it, and it looks like we're doing it safely, so that's all good. Now the only time that I pull up in front of a car, like you can see in this example, is when I think there's another motorcyclist that is behind me and they are also lane filtering. So try to be courteous and try to give them the space to be able to go through the traffic. I try to get away from the traffic as fast as possible, but while sticking to the speed limit. You can see here I've gone over by a couple of kilometers, but I know my speedo is a couple of kilometers off anyway, and I slowly reduce to the correct speed. And then you get the perfect situation where the traffic is far enough apart that you can easily go through without having concerns about hitting anyone's side mirrors. This is another example of sitting quite comfortably in between the 2 cars, just waiting for the right opportunity. And then every now and then you get some really nice drivers where they pull to the side to let you through. So waiting patiently and not pushing your way through is always the right thing to do. Well, I hope you got something out of it. This came as a suggestion on one of the videos that I did previously. Comment saying that I should talk about lane filtering, so thank you for that suggestion. Keep those comments coming and help me to create more content that is useful for you, and I'll see you next time.